Hi, I'm Rick Farrow. I've been working with Unix security since 1984 and am currently a self-employed security consultant. When I learned how quickly people were learning how to build and install applications on the iPhone, I became concerned. And I quickly found myself involved in a project to show how easy it could be to break into an iPhone and to install new applications. Fortunately, I had a lot of help with this. What I'm going to show you today is how to use Metasploit. This is a tool designed for security professionals so they can test the security of systems. In particular, I'm going to be showing you an exploit written by H.D. Moore. And this exploit will allow me to break into the iPhone, install a voice recorder application, remotely record whatever sounds are in the room, and transfer that file over to my MacBook and play it there. This could be used to remotely record conversations, even when it looks like the phone is off. What I'm going to do now is start up the MSF, that is the Metasploit console. And there it is, Metasploit. And now I'm going to paste in a series of commands I'd entered previously. So this sets up a particular exploit, in this case a Safari libtif exploit. Then I actually type exploit, and now that makes the exploit is now running, and when I enter a particular URL over a mobile Safari, which I'm doing now, you can see that something's happening on the screen. The exploit's been successful. Looking at my iPhone, Safari has disappeared. I'm back at the springboard, that is like the display of icons. And now I can enter another command here. And at this point, I am inside of the iPhone. I can list the root directory, and I can work with the iPhone. I can find files, I can copy files, I can execute programs. What I'm going to do is install some tools on this so I can SSH into the iPhone and remotely execute commands. I'm going to demonstrate that next. So I'm exiting all the way out of Metasploit, and now I'm going to SSH into the iPhone. SSH is a secure shell which I've installed on the iPhone. There we go. So this is just what I would do with any Unix system or Linux system or Mac system. Once SSH is set up, I am now inside. There's the list of directories. I can also run a find command, and what's interesting about the find command is that I can find any recently modified files, and what I'm going to do is say find anything that's been modified within 1 day and print out its name. So these are things that have been modified within the last day. Down near the bottom, we can see that there's a file called voicemail database. If I copied this to another computer, I would have the voicemail taken from the iPhone. A little further up, there's a history file and a book list file. This is part of Safari. This gives you an idea of the types of things that I can copy from this machine, whether it's a server or a desktop. Now I'm going to run a command that I previously installed called remote record. And what remote record does is it begins recording ambient sound in the room. So this could be used as a portable bugging device. You could start this up, someone would be carrying it around, and it would be recording wherever they went, even if they disabled the radio. Okay, it's finished recording. Now I'm going to upload it. I've already done this before, so you just need to find the file. Again, I've got to enter a password. Okay, so now I have a file called bug.amr, and I want to fire it up, get the QuickTime player going, and play it back.
There we go. So now what's going on is I'm actually recording the ambient sound in the room. This could be used as a remote bug. In other words, the iPhone would become a bug that somebody would carry into the meeting room, and even if they turn...
Good. So here's an example of a mail file. I set up a Gmail account, and sent myself some mail. And I then took that mail database file and copied it over to my MacBook, and we can actually see this is the mail that was sent to me and saved on my iPhone. So I can actually read the mail remotely that's on my iPhone. At this point, the attacker has complete control over the iPhone. An attacker can read your locally stored email, can look at your web browsing and calling history, can install new applications, can run those applications, can essentially do anything that you can do with your iPhone. Now, this exploit actually involved you doing something with the iPhone, or in my case, I did something with the iPhone to get the exploit to work. This is not at all unusual. Most PCs are actually exploited because people visit a website and wind up being exploited. This would work with the iPhone as well. Finally, this is not just a problem for the iPhone. This is a problem for any smartphone, for any widely distributed computing device, which will eventually be attacked and exploited.